Evening. With the Championship hogging the stage last week, this week we're back to a full lineup with action from all three divisions. And there's been a bit of managerial movement in Leagues 1 and 2, with Mick Wadsworth gone from Hartlepool and Eddie Boothroyd now at the helm of Northampton. As you can see, Steve's with me tonight as we pick our way through quite a day in the N-Power Football League. After last week's shock defeat to Doncaster, it was back to home comforts for leaders Southampton this afternoon. Their opponents are steadily improving Blackpool. Like the Saints, West Ham came unstuck last week, so the Hammers were looking to get back to winning ways with a trip to mid-table Reading. Barnsley scored after just 9 seconds in their midweek win against Crystal Palace. It was scored by Ricardo Vazte, and it helped Barnsley up to within touching distance of the playoffs, a position they were looking to consolidate today against Ipswich Town.
And in League 2, these are happy days at Wharton Road. Cheltenham Town are third in the league. They've just thrown Tottenham out of the hat in the FA Cup, and the Gaffer has won Manager of the Month. Today they were hoping to get one over on leaders Southend United.
Right, well, first up, the leaders Southampton, who after last week's setback at Doncaster remain 2 points clear at the top of the Championship. Going into today's game with Blackpool, Nigel Adkins' men, of course, had won all 10 league games at St Mary's so far. Well, the good news for the Saints was that Ricky Lambert was back after his hip injury. Although goalkeeper Kelvin Davis was out, having tweaked his groin in the week, he was replaced by Bartosz Bialkowski. Blackpool made one change, with Chris Basham coming in for Lamana Luar. Commentary from John Roeder.
Chase on here for Matt Phillips. Support from Erdley. Ferguson. Phillips. Teasing ball in. Oh! First touch for Bialkowski, and it wasn't a very confident one at all. At least the goalkeeper got his body in the way, but had he been pressed a little closer there by Basham, he might have just been able to tuck that in from close range. Cork loses out to Sylvestre. Sylvestre goes for goal. Oh, it's off the chest of the goalkeeper. And yet again a stop from Bialkowski that does not inspire confidence. Sylvestre letting fly with the shot. Southampton a touch fortunate. Nicely done by Lallana. Lambert. Schneiderlin! Nice little header down from Lambert, and Schneiderlin puts it over. Foul by Ferguson. Free kick taken quickly. Blackpool guilty there, and they were almost made to pay a heavy price. Plenty of room on that far side. Dean Hammond with it a touch. Lallana. It's Cork. This is Ricky Lambert. Oh, he got a deflection. Southampton in front. Ricky Lambert celebrate. And the Saints may very well be on their way to setting a new club record of home league victories. Gilks with the ball out. Hardly caught in possession here by Lallana. Cork not going for goal himself. And in the end, I think it gets a touch off Craig Cathcart to divert the ball past Matt Gilks. Goulet. Hammond has made a run through the middle. This is Ricky Lambert! Gilks with a vital save. One or two Blackpool eyes moved across to the assistant on the far side just to see whether Lambert might have been in an offside position. He wasn't. Phillips. Here's McManaman. Basham's in the middle. Taylor Fletcher's there as well. Southampton look for a flag, and it does not come. The goal stands. Blackpool are back on level terms, and Chris Basham has got it. You can see Basham there in the middle, just outside the 6-yard area, and he is level. Getting in behind Hoyveld, And that is an easy header past Bielkowski. Southampton 1, Blackpool 1, 9 minutes to half-time. Here's Matt Phillips. Taylor Fletcher to his right. Phillips looks like he's going to go all the way off the post. Bielkowski didn't move. The goalkeeper just doesn't move at all. And Southampton very fortunate. Support from Lambert. Gooley. For goal himself. Craning. Oh, he's given it away. Schneiderlin puts it over. Could have been a costly error from the fullback. Straight to Schneiderlin. McManaman. Strong surging run from Callum McManaman. Bielkowski. Oh! What an error! Southampton behind, and Bielkowski probably wants to find a hole and hide in it. His performance has been embarrassing. McManaman here, good run, kept going. Deary me. Bielkowski just doesn't get his body behind it at all. That is a goal that he will see for years and years and years to come, because it will be available on many DVDs. What must Kelvin Davis be thinking there? Southampton are going to have to start attacking with verve and vigour now. Gooley with the shots, and Jilts gets it at the second opportunity. Strong run from Gooley. Faced by Matt Phillips. Forward by Cork. Gooley! Lovely cross. Just a fraction too high. Oh dear. Who left that there? Cork. Richardson. Was there a push there from Ardley? Southampton felt there was. Play continues. Harding. Schneiderlin. De Ridder. Ardley's challenge here. Well, referee has a good view. You can see his position. His decision. No penalty. Here's Lewa. Couldn't quite finish it there for Blackpool. Keeps going. Lallana. Good turn from Lallana. Can he find room for a shot? This is De Ridder. Here's Richardson. They're queuing up in the middle, and Southampton have an equaliser. And who else but Ricky Lambert? Southampton's top scorer this season has surely snatched a late point for the Saints. He's onside there, and a firm header past Matt Jilts. And late in stoppage time, it's surely a point for Nigel Adkins' team. Chase on here for De Ridder. Oh, he's got there first as well. Cork making a run through the middle. What's De Ridder going to do here? Has he taken it too far? Yes, he has. Oh, that was such a chance for Southampton. And De Ridder knows it. Three teammates in the middle. Didn't use any of them.
Started the game well. Scored a good goal. You know, could have scored a few goals in the first half. Didn't maybe take a few chances when we should have gone and taken them. Second half, obviously, we've gone behind. First time I think we've gone behind this season for a longer period of time. Changed it around a little bit. Great credit to the players, because we've kept going and we've kept going and we've kept driving each other body on. And Ricky Lambert scored a great goal.
We're growing. We're getting there. We've had disappointment. They've still got lots of impetus and energy, and you know, I like Nigel a lot, and I hope that continues for him. But you know, I've experienced the other end of the scale where we've ended on a crest of a slump, and I think we're looking like a half decent team again now.
What about your goalkeeper? Because he had a difficult afternoon, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, Bart's been absolutely fantastic in training all the way through. He's had to be very patient to wait for an opportunity because of the consistent performances of Kelvin Davis. He's had to go and perform in the arena today. Unfortunately, things haven't quite worked for him. The good thing is we haven't lost the game because of that. And he'll become a better player and a better, stronger character for that. And we'll support him, you know, because we like him a hell of a lot. He's a good lad. He works ever so hard. And as I say, in training, he's absolutely fantastic. And maybe he just needs more games so he can become more comfortable in the arena.
Yeah, Nigel Adkins backing his stand-in goalkeeper. I mean, it certainly was an eventful game for Bartosz Białkowski, wasn't it, Steve? It won't be one, though, he'll want to dwell on for too long.
No, I mean, there was some stuff there that was a little bit of a mystery, shall we say. You can excuse that. Ball bounced in front of him. The balls, that, as they are, will move and dip. That, I can't get my head around that one. That is complete.
It almost acts as if it's surprise.
Well, it's totally unorthodox. I mean, the ball goes back into an area where if someone's following it up in the centre of the goal, they're just going to put it in. Now, this in isolation, OK, all goalkeepers will make mistakes. But I just think in the scheme of things, in the grand scheme of things, if you look at that with the overall way that he's played, and it doesn't make happy viewing. And as I say, one or two areas where you can say yes, you can excuse them, and that would probably be one of them if that was the only mistake he'd made, but it wasn't.
Reminiscent of Manchester United's Massimo Taibi, if you remember that one. This time Southampton were on the receiving end of it, of course. He then had Ricky Lambert to thank, I suppose, you know, saving his blushes, getting an equaliser right at the end of the contest. And this is what they were missing, I suppose, against Doncaster last week.
Yeah, well, no coincidence they got beaten, wasn't it, and he wasn't playing. But no, you stick the ball to the far post, especially on the diag like that.
Yeah.
And
Prado does well here.
Yeah, there's only going to be one person who gets on the end of it. As you say, Julio De Prado, his first instinct must be, I want to get on the end of that myself as well, but he doesn't. He continues to walk out, and he doesn't get given offside.
I know Ollie was acting, it feels like a defeat with the goal coming and the nature of it coming so late. But a point at the end of the day at St Mary's, I mean, that can be considered a good one.
Well, I think first instinct from both managers will think we should have won that game. We gave them a goal, but then when you look at it, they can both say, well, actually, they gave us a goal as well. Yeah. So I think on reflection, it was a great game to watch. Blackpool really went from it from the start, and I think they deserve their point.
Well, with Southampton dropping points, West Ham, like last week, had another chance to end the day top for the first time this season. Sam Allardyce's side made the relatively short trip, if you can trust the M25 and the M4, that is, to Reading, who started the day in 12th. Reading made two changes from the defeat at Blackpool last weekend, with Joby McAnuff and Noel Hunt returning to the side. As for West Ham, out went O'Brien, Taylor and Cole. In came Demel, Diop and Picquion. Your commentator at the Medeski, Steve Wyeth.
This is Demel, making his second West Ham appearance. May have pulled up at the back. Demel making that clearance. Here he is again, but in obvious discomfort. And Guy Demel's second appearance in a West Ham shirt is in danger of lasting a matter of 90 seconds. But Joey O'Brien is the man who's preparing to come on. Well, that's really horrible luck for the Ivorian. And now here's Faubert with Collison ahead of him. Collison, real chances for West Ham. Collison works the shot. This time it is a Reading deflection which takes it away from Federici's goal. Collison from Faubert's pass. Collison, I think, just thought he'd seen the space. Again, here's a chance, and off the line. It was Diop in there. Well, West Ham now, Papa Bouba Diop this time, surely thought he'd scored. Deep corner, Tompkins with the header back across goal, and Diop turning it goalwards. Off the line, brilliantly. It's asked a lot there by Mark Noble, and now through the middle. Chance for Noel Hunt, in behind West Ham for the first time. Rob Green finally has a save to make. Noel Hunt's effort, though, was easy for him. Seen so little of this from Reading this afternoon. Hunt, though, springing the offside trap. Tame shot in the end. Will he be thinking about a change now as well, Brian McDermott? Something's got to change for him if Reading are going to get a goal, you feel. And now Hunt and O'Brien separated. It was John Carew warming up, the West Ham substitute, acting as peacemaker. Just sliding in, Hunt, and O'Brien took exception to it, and Hunt foolishly had his hands raised there. Will this be yellow cards all round? A bit of a cooler. Well, just entirely unnecessary, really, but both go into the book. Lafondra. Overlap from McAnuff, and O'Brien's left his foot in. Now O'Brien's just been booked, and his second yellow card of the afternoon in quick succession will be swiftly followed by red. And West Ham must play the final 25 minutes with 10 men. 2 rushes of blood to the head from Joey O'Brien have cost him a red card. The flick from Lafondra left McAnuff with a lot to do, and O'Brien was sucked in, wasn't he? Cleared as far as McAnuff. Oh, wriggling into space. Joby McAnuff, can he pick a pass? Pearce is on the end of it, 1-0. Reading lead. Seconds after West Ham are reduced to 10 men. McAnuff did all the hard work, waited, and Pearce offered him the best option, and the finish was simple. West Ham really made to pay. Gawks. McAnuff, dangerous cross from him again. Chance for Church, just wide of the post. Oh, close, very close to 2-0. Again, McAnuff creating the opportunity. Lafondra leaving it for Church. He was picking the bottom corner, wasn't he? Kebe again for Reading. Karachan, Kebe's gone for the return. Still going. Finding Lafondra. Church arriving at the back post. 2-0 Reading. Birthday boy Simon Church with the goal that will surely clinch 3 points for them against West Ham. Well, of all the presents he'll get on his 23rd birthday, Simon Church, this cross from Adam Lafondra will perhaps be the best. Couldn't miss. Piling forward though, Reading in numbers. Kebe even has time to adjust his socks. And then off the ball, Kebe fell, and Reading are furious about it. Kebe stays down. Collison was in there, the ball had gone, and once again referee Neil Swarbrick has got some sorting out to do here. Yes, it is a red card for Collinson. Late in on the challenge on Jimmy Kebe, and West Ham 2-0 down, are down to 9 men. O'Brien sent off earlier, now Jack Collison as well. And this is turning into a miserable afternoon for West Ham. It is 3-0. He's going to have a good night tonight, isn't he, Simon Church? 2 goals as a substitute. Inviting free kick. Church sprinting into space. His second header of the afternoon. His 5th goal of the season.
I thought that opportunities would come our way. And I was delighted with the way that we went about our business today. I thought we were really solid and played some good stuff today at times, and I thought we were good value for the win.
How cross are you about Jack Collison getting involved in something? It was so unnecessary, wasn't it? Yeah, well, it was. I mean, but you know, sometimes players lose the cool when they think that the opposition's taking the mickey out of them, and the lads in there saying, you know, it's you know, they were just sort of doing it. But you've got to cope with that lot. I mean, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do, and whatever it is, you have to take it on the chin. You can't go and react like that, you know.
Yeah, day to forget for West Ham. Great result for Reading, nonetheless. But we heard from Sam there on Jimmy Kebe. So, what was your take on it with that confrontation between him and Jack Collison?
Well, I mean, you can see here. I mean, it's a little bit, for me, it's a little bit disrespectful to the opposition. The game's won, and to start taking what you could describe as taking the mick, you could probably use another word for it at that stage of the game. I don't think it's I think it's unnecessary, and it's not. You can't condone what Collison does, but you know, in that situation, it's understandable, and that's the sort of thing that would happen. I've played in plenty of games where if someone's tried to do that, that has been the end result. It doesn't surprise me, let's put it this way, that it's not an English player that's done it. Maybe, you know, I just don't think that over here, that I think you know, players understand that. That's a disrespectful thing to do.
Well, I think he knows now.
Yes,
Brian McDermott took him off
that.
soon after. A couple of goals, of course, on his birthday from Simon Church. He's having to step up to the plate now, isn't he? Of course, with no Shane Long around. Fully fledged Welsh international now. He's looking at home here, isn't he?
Oh, he's a good player. I mean, you know, he's only a young player, burst upon the scene.
Yeah.
And, he's,
and it's hard to forget, he's still quite young.
Absolutely, but he always had undoubted talent. Grew up in that good under-21 side as well for Wales. You know, lots and lots of good players around him, so he's a good grounding. And yeah, he's starting to, as you say, you've got to play games to fulfil your potential. And he's starting to do that now.
They've been a bit inconsistent of Reading, but they've made a solid start. So there's lots to play on now, come the turn of the year.
Well, absolutely. I mean, what you've got to say about them is there was always going to be a little bit of maybe an after effect. You know, having lost in the playoffs and the way that they lost in the playoffs, and then they lose a couple of big players for them, Mills and Long. So, you know, you've got to readjust. But we know he's done a good job there, the manager. He did a good job under difficult circumstances when he first came in, because they weren't exactly flying. No. And all of a sudden now, as you say, they're starting to be a bit of the, you know, one of the shakers and the movers. And there'll be people who look at that and think it's going to be a tough game now from here on in.
Right, 9 more Championship games to get our teeth into now, starting with Leicester v Peterborough. Two teams separated by just 40 miles. Jonathan Ledgard picks up the commentary.
Gallagher. Nugent and Bamber at the far post. Great leap there by Leicester's top scorer. Bamber. Oh, that's not good enough, and Taylor could be in here. Schmeichel spreads himself. Good save. Just as well, Schmeichel was smart and alert, because Bamber got that all wrong. Good layoff to Beckford, picked up by Wellens again. Beckford's away. Beckford's through. Oh, he's hit the post. Good move there by Leicester. Still not the breakthrough that Nigel Pearson wanted. Oh, so close. Wellens to Beckford, and then back off the post. Dyer. Konchesky's continued his run, he's in space as well. Gets the cross in. St Ledger, good save there by Lewis, and then Ryan Bennett completes the clearance. Seemed to be going the wrong way almost, Lewis. St Ledger had him diving and scrambling back across. Gallagher. Nugent. In now to Gallagher. Oh, and it's in! Lewis, no chance. And Leicester at last have taken the lead. It's goal number 5 for Paul Gallagher. Deflection fell kindly, and the shot buried itself. Kearns to Sinclair. Tomlin's free, and Tomlin scores! Lee Tomlin, released by Leicester as a junior, has equalised. Where was the Leicester defence? Sinclair away, Tomlin away, and Schmeichel no real chance. Tunnicliffe. Tomlin. Tunnicliffe on his own here. Schmeichel saves. Danger still not clear to Boyd. Tomlin's there as well. Tries to tee it up. Now Sinclair. Still the ball's not clear. Schmeichel dives forward. Still it's not there. Peltier clears.
We exploited their weaknesses very, very well, got the ball into wide areas, but we're just not able to convert those situations. And although we looked very dangerous for long periods of the game, didn't do enough to win it in the end.
My back four were excellent, you know, and the goalkeeper very, very good, very resilient. And we're always capable of nicking a goal. And really good piece of football's got a really good goal for us, and in the end we could have nicked it. Would have been unjust on Leicester. But we've been involved in many games where it's been the other way around, and we've dominated games and not getting anything out of it. So it's a good point, isn't it?
Cardiff arrived in south-east London on the back of an 8-match unbeaten run, but it was the hosts Millwall who threatened early on. Liam Feeney set up James Henry, but he just couldn't keep it down. Cardiff's best chance fell to Kenny Miller after the break. The ever-dangerous Peter Whittingham's pass perhaps deserved something to come of it, but the Scottish striker's tame header was gathered by the grateful Steve Mildenhall. And then, right at the end, one final opportunity for Millwall. Feeney's inviting cross, Darius Henderson's header, which he did keep down, but it merely bounced over the bar. No goals then, but the Championship's Manager of the Month looking at the positives, as Cardiff are now 9 unbeaten.
Always going to be a tough game. Kenny's team's here at the Den, and we had a couple of injuries early on and ended up playing with 2 young kids in midfield there. I'm delighted for them, but overall really happy with the point. You know, as I say, on another day we could have won it, and another day we could have lost it.
I thought we matched Cardiff very well and had the better chances in the game. Hit the bar in the first half and had the best chance of the whole match right at the end through Darius Henderson's header, which you know he usually puts away. But a lot of positives for us to capitalise on, and you know, it's a good clean sheet.
Middlesbrough started the weekend in 4th, looking to top scorer Marvin Emnes to move them closer to the top 2, but they were up against a Brighton team who've enjoyed a renaissance of late. A run of 3 straight wins has seen them climb back to within a point of the playoff places, and Kazenga Loa almost gave them an early lead. The key moment happened midway through the first half. Joe Bennett's cross looked like it should have been gathered easily by the Albion keeper Kasper Ankergren. Not so. He treated it like a bar of soap, and Scott McDonald cleaned up for the game's only goal, his 5th of the season. Borough captain Matthew Bates was celebrating his 25th birthday. A goal would have been perfect, but he was unable to accept the gift offered by Tony McMahon's free kick. Then another McMahon free kick was spilled by Ankergren, but Barry Robson couldn't react quick enough. But the one goal would be enough, and it was another win for the BBC North East Sports Personality of the Year, Tony Mowbray.
We got a goal, we sneaked a goal, we had 1 or 2 other great chances. It didn't go in, that second goal didn't come, but you know, ultimately the game's finished and we won the football match, 3 points in the bag, and we move on.
It was a very close game between a top 6 team, which means Peterborough is going to be there for sure, and us coming here away from home and being very close to get something. So no, not frustrated at all.
Simon Grayson's Leeds side have been in impressive away form of late. They went into this one with 17th placed Watford, aiming for a 4th consecutive away victory. Before this match, the hosts had only ever registered 2 league wins against Leeds. 28 minutes in and a 3rd looked possible. Wolves' low knee, Michael Kitely, ran unchallenged towards the Leeds goal and finished in style. A win here would see Sean Dyche's side extend their unbeaten run to 5 in the league, and they had a chance to seal it a minute from time, thanks to this challenge by Patrick Kisnorbo on Marvin Sordell. Sordell took it himself, eventually, but it wasn't to be. So Leeds pressed for an equaliser, and on the stroke of full time, they were handed a lifeline. Nyron Nosworthy's boot a little too close to Mika Väyryänen's head for the referee's liking. Robert Snodgrass stepped up to take this penalty and made no mistake to give Leeds a late point. Sean Dyche needed, well, clarification, shall we say, from the officials.
We gave a very good performance, a very thorough performance in all areas. You know, we were sound and created enough chances to win the game, and then unfortunately, you know, we had a penalty given against us and they put it in with literally 10 seconds, not even that, 5 seconds to go. But sometimes it happens and it's a bit of a pill to swallow, but a lot of positives from us today.
These are worrying times for Coventry. A 9-match sequence without a win has seen them drop to the bottom of the Championship. Former chairman and current head of football operations Ken DeLue felt he needed a closer look and chose to sit on the bench with manager Andy Thorne. And he was hugely grateful to keeper Joe Murphy, who was tested early on by Cameron Stewart. Coventry's recent record against Hull didn't inspire confidence. They hadn't even scored in their previous 3 league meetings against these opponents, and Richard Wood could hardly have gone closer. Hull have really impressed under rookie manager Nick Barmby, and it was a slick move down the left that led to an Andy Dawson cross. And how's this for a first goal of the season for the Northern Ireland midfielder Corey Evans? It was also a 3rd straight win for Hull. Rock-bottom Coventry have now lost their last 3.
You had your former chairman and now head of football operations on the bench with you today. Why was that?
Well, if Ken wanted to come on at the bench, so he's head of football operations, and so he was down there.
Are you happy with that?
Well, it's not really. He's head of football, so he can do whatever he wants, can't he?
Burnley have the wind in their sails at the moment. 3 points against Portsmouth would make it 4 league wins on the bounce for Eddie Howe's men. The last time they managed that was 6 years ago. But they were on the back foot early on here, though. David Norris's shot fell to Luke Varney, who stuttered with the goal at his mercy. This was in truth a scrappy affair, but both teams were creating chances. Stephen Henderson keeping out Chris McCann's fizzing drive. Portsmouth were playing the better football. After some neat build-up play, Eric Husaklep's volley just wide. Now Burnley have only kept 2 clean sheets all season. Into injury time, so surely it would be number 3. Nope. David Norris choosing the perfect time to score his 5th in all competitions this season. That goal enough to seal Pompey's first away win of the season.
I've got to say, I never felt under real threat. I can only think of Stephen making 1 save in the game. So we knew what to expect when we come here, and we found out that straight away, right from minute 1 of the second half, and thought the lads defended well, and we hit them with a nice little counter-attack goal.
Wasn't a lot in the game. It was quite scrappy. Didn't think the referee helped the flow of the game. It was bitty, and I felt we were the side pushing for the win, and unfortunately we got down there in the last couple of minutes.
After 4 wins in Steve Cottrell's first 6 games in charge, Forest have stumbled, worryingly. Their fans have seen 3 straight defeats without a single goal before this game. But the hosts did have their chances in the first half against a Palace side who have not won in 7 league games. Julian Speroni saves spectacularly from Forest skipper Luke Chambers. Palace boss Dougie Friedman spent 2 years as a Forest player, and it would be a happy return to the City ground. Wilfred Zaha did the legwork, and Glenn Murray, hero against Manchester United, did the rest. That makes it 4 defeats in a row now for Cottrell's team.
It's another game that we've dominated, and there isn't too much more we can do at the moment. We seem to get burnt for every little mistake, everything at the moment. That's how it goes, and it's a tough league.
Doncaster's Billy Sharp was named Championship Player of the Month for November before Saturday's trip to Birmingham. Sharp netted 4 times for Donny in what was an incredibly difficult month for him and his family after the tragic death of his 2-day-old son. It was Birmingham, though, who started the brighter and thought they should have had a penalty early on. David Murphy's shot appeared to hit a Doncaster arm. Referee Nigel Miller was unconvinced. The last time the visitors tasted victory in Birmingham was way back in 1954, but they took the lead. James Coppinger with the cross, Marc-Antoine Fortune with the time to take a touch and give Donny the advantage. Well, that goal stung Birmingham into action, and 12 minutes later they were level. Chris Burke making the most of Carl Ikime's calamitous clearance. He fed Marlon King, who did the rest. Buoyed by that goal, the Blues went in search of a winner, and 2 minutes before time they got it. Burke again the instigator, King again with the finish. And with games in hand, Birmingham could still come from behind in this multiple horse promotion race. The perfect gift for Chris Hughton on the eve of his 53rd birthday.
We kept going through to the end, and even at 1-1, where we're possibly, with the way things have gone in recent results, we might have settled for that, but we've got a group of lads that were determined to get the win today, and we got the win that we deserved.
From 5th in October to 15th in December, Nigel Clough's Derby have been in miserable form. They've taken just 1 point from a possible 18. The recent Bristol City revival came to an end last week when they lost to Middlesbrough, but they look to be back on track 11 minutes after half-time in this one. The impressive Albert Adoma sent through Martin Wolford, who finished in style. His first goal of the season. Derby hadn't scored at home since October, and having waited 3 games to see a goal, the home support were rewarded for their patience as Derby drew level. Jamie Ward made the running. Craig Bryson tapped in for his 4th league goal of the season. And having waited all that time for 1 goal, another was along minutes later. 19-year-old Callum Ball intervened to score his first senior goal for Derby to edge them ahead. The visitors almost drew level late on, but Brett Pittman couldn't quite steer his flick on target. So 2-1 to Derby, their first win since October the 29th.
I think you saw the lift in confidence when the equaliser went in. It lifted everybody, the crowd, the players, and then we're a bit fortunate, but I think we've deserved the win and more for the last few weeks than today.
Yeah, good win that for Derby and a day to treasure for 19-year-old Callum Ball. Hull's Nick Barmby continues his fine start as manager. 4 wins out of 6 now for him. What is going on for Coventry though, Steve? Because no win in 10 now, and the chairman who resigned last week, head of operations, football operations now, and he was sat on the bench today. What's your take on having a non-football person almost that close to the football itself?
Well, it's a confusing issue, isn't it? There's no doubt about that. I mean, obviously there's people possibly doing jobs that maybe they're not at this stage qualified to do. I mean, I don't know. There's so many things coming out of that football club. You know, at this stage, it needs somebody to get hold of it, you know, take control, and take it in a direction where everybody can see what they're trying to do. At this stage, it seems a little bit rudderless, and I don't think anybody, you know, even the people in charge and the people in the know, seem to know exactly what's happening.
As for Portsmouth, Michael Appleton's first aim, I suppose, was to get that first away win, which has eluded them since March. I mean, it's been a woeful run of form for them away from home. But they got the win today, and that's a huge psychological barrier that they've overcome.
Absolutely, and obviously David Norris scores the winner. Just pushed him in a slightly more advanced role, just off of Dave Kitson, and he's come up trumps there. And I think that's exactly the example of why he's playing in there. Because just to pick up the bits and pieces, anything that drops down, and then go on. And he's got a decent strike with either foot. And that's the sort of finish that you know, he's well renowned for.
The alarm bells are certainly ringing at the City Ground for Nottingham Forest. They've lost the last 4. More worryingly than that is they haven't scored a goal in that time as well. The honeymoon period's well and truly over for Steve Cottrell.
It is. I mean, as you say, after initially a good start, I mean, you know, this has been a poor run of results. And also, you look at it and you think, what would have been their briefer start of the season? It's probably been, you know, to get in the playoffs again. That looks like a distant ambition, shall we say. So this is very much a case now of just staying in this division. So all round, whatever happens, as long as they do that, it'll still be a really relatively disappointing year for Forest.
Our last game from the Championship tonight is an absolute belter. It involved 2 sides with hugely differing fortunes, Barnsley and Ipswich. Barnsley started the day in 9th after 4 wins on the trot, while 7 defeats in a row had sent Ipswich spiralling towards the relegation zone. Well, Barnsley made just 1 change, with Scott Wiseman starting at left-back and David Perkins moving into midfield. Paul Jewell, however, named the same 11, no doubt looking for a reaction to last week's defeat to Watford.
There's Butterfield, looks to fashion the opening himself here. The captain, he's gone down to Scotland's challenge, outside the box just. It was, I'm pretty sure, outside the box here, and the challenge is made by Jason Scotland. Here comes that free kick, driven in and turned over well by Stockdale. Stockdale with the strong arms to just flick it over. Wiseman. Butterfield now has in the middle Drinkwater on the run here. It's Danny Drinkwater. Out comes the goalkeeper, caught him, did he? That's a penalty, clear as day. Great ball through, onside no question. And the goalkeeper here was sluggish. Clear foul, penalty for Barnsley. And here comes the informed man to step up and to score again. 7 goals now for Barnsley this season for Craig Davis. And once again, Ipswich Town are behind. Craig Davis steps up and scores emphatically. And Paul Jewell's woes show no signs of abating whatsoever. Here's Butterfield for Barnsley. And Craig Davis Davis in from the tight angle, just flicks away there by Stockdale's fingertips. Craig Davis here took on and beat Edwards and almost found a gap at the near post there. Good save. Davis being climbed all over there by Danny Collins, and Sonko slip, and they're in again here. Davis again, denied by Stockdale, is he? Off the line, and wouldn't quite fall again for him there. Craig Davis almost gifted a second on the night. Goalkeeper save good, and the recovering clearance even better. Craig Davis. Now O'Brien has made the run, just knocked away for a corner. Lee Bowyer got back there to track the runner and make sure the cross was never delivered. Jacob Butterfield again with a chance here to plot and scheme with a corner. And Vaste! This front two who can't stop scoring now. Vaste joins Davis on the score sheet once again for Barnsley. Where was the marking here? It was Edwards with him, who got nowhere near to Vaste. And the header planted in the bottom corner brilliantly. And Murphy's cross, Hassel away and back in well. And they're back in the game. Keith Andrews has, within the first 25 seconds of the second half, reduced the arrears to 1. Keith Andrews, with his 7th league goal this season, has lashed the away team Ipswich in with a chance again. Martin takes on O'Brien. Still Lee Martin. Martin back for Cresswell. Cresswell's cross! Oh, they've done it! Andrews again. In the space of 4 second half minutes, the game has turned right around. It's 2-2 now. Keith Andrews, the captain, has led here by some example. A brace of rapid-fire goals in the second half, and the game is all square and up for grabs again. Edwards now towards Scotland here. Jason Scotland! Goalkeeper saves, Chopra saved again, Martin flags up. Greenwood's flag here saves the home team from going behind. Scotland's shot was parried, and there, look, 2 of them offside, Chopra and Martin. Play called back correctly, wouldn't have counted. Here's Chopra. Now Bowyer. Ryder still here, he's got Lee Martin, who takes on Wiseman. And has won the corner, I think. Last touch was indeed off Scott Wiseman here for an Ipswich Town corner. No sign of their dressing room divisions so far tonight, as they've got back to 2-2. In goes the cross, Danny Collins! And the about face, this remarkable turnaround has been completed by Danny Collins' header. 3-2 now. And Ipswich Town, who at half-time were out of this match, out of sight, now lead 3-2. Ball which is met by Danny Collins and O'Brien. Scotland, Bowyer with him. This is Lee Bowyer now for Michael Chopra! Unbelievable! 4 goals and counting for Ipswich Town. Slick, fluid, flowing move. Chopra's finish off the post. 4-2 from 2 behind. Remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. At half-time, unthinkable. Now the points are in the palm of their hand. Murphy holds off the challenge of Butterfield now, and it's into the feet of Ellington. Aaron Cresswell. Cresswell's cross, Murphy's touch, Scotland 5! Broad smiles for Ipswich Town. It has been the most remarkable, crazy second half for them. It's a great cross from Cresswell, the simple finish, and that should see off Barnsley. 5 for Ipswich, 3 points, and that losing run is over in a massive way. Now Rangers quick feet, and now Danny Haynes likewise, and Haynes will see play called back here for a Barnsley free kick for the foul on Ranger. That's the foul by Sonko. Craig Davis with the free kick, and he scored again. Craig Davis now with 8 goals in 8 matches. It's back to 5-3. Davis with a lovely free kick, flew past Stockdale. It's giving us spectators, the neutrals, a great spectacle.
You have to give the players credit, and you can talk all you like and rant all you like. I just said to them, try and believe in yourself. Next goal is vital. At 2-0, you know, if we lose a goal, it's we can't crumble. And if we get a goal, you never know what happens. And I just said to believe in themselves, because we, you know, first half we were bereft. You can see we looked like we didn't believe in ourselves. Second half, once we scored, and we scored early, you could see the confidence in the players go right through the team.
2-0, we should have managed the game probably better, but like I said, I'd rather give credit to Ipswich. They're an excellent side. When you look at the calibre of player that they've got and the harsh reality of the league, anyone can beat anybody, and you're never safe. A 2-goal margin after 45 minutes doesn't mean that you're going to win the game in this league.
Hey, at 5-2, I wasn't comfortable. Never mind at 2-2. You know, so we've got to, you know, we conceded 3 goals from set plays again today, which is disappointing. But I don't think tonight is time to gloat or to talk about things. Just time to have a bit of relief. You know, put your feet on and think, thank God for that.
Well, that game certainly sums up the championship. Where did that come from, Steve?
Well, good players showing what they can do. A little bit of confidence, captain leading by example, and some real quality as well in the end, in the final third.
They were staring down the barrel at half-time, 2-0 down, maybe their 8th consecutive defeat. They needed a quick response. 20 seconds in, this was perfect for them, wasn't it?
Well, it's just, I mean, he's got good technique, Keith. I mean, I was at Wolves with Keith, even as a kid. You know, those are the sort of things that he can do. Great technique, fantastic finish, keeps his eye on the ball, and an unerring shot there into the bottom corner. They're back in it. You know, 4 minutes into the second half, and to be fair, the momentum they've gained from that 4 minutes, you know, doesn't surprise you that they've gone on and won the game. And all of a sudden, Barnsley, from dominating the game for 45 minutes virtually, are level. You know, within 4 minutes gone of the second half, and then all of a sudden, you know, everybody wants the ball, everyone starts to play, and then the real quality comes to the fore.
As far as Ipswich fans are concerned now, and they've had a few false dawns already this season, is building on this win. Because if anything gives them confidence, this has got to be it.
They're another side, aren't they? They're a little bit like Forest. They were start the season, you know, lots and lots of players come in. They've got some big players there as well, you know, some big hitters. We would have certainly expected them to do better than they are. And, you know, ultimately, whatever happens, I mean, they're a mile off of the playoffs. If they don't get in the playoffs, I would imagine it will settle out as another disappointing year for them, because they would have expected better.
As for Barnsley, 5 wins out of 7 for them. Obviously, you know, they've got a great FA Cup tie to look forward to against Swansea.
Yeah.
They've had a great first half of the season, haven't they?
It's been fine, absolutely no problem, as you say. I mean, Keith Hill,
considering their budget and what he's had to play with.
Super job at Rochdale, done a really good job at Barnsley. And as I say, they're going to be one of those sides where maybe 1 in every 4, 1 in every 5 years, they might have a little go at the playoffs. Apart from that, fair to middling is fine.
Yeah, of course. Craig Davis and Jacob Butterfield, 2 very good players. Yep. League One now, and as if things couldn't get any better for runaway leaders Charlton, last Sunday the Addicts were drawn away to Premier League Fulham in the FA Cup. That tie, of course, isn't till next month, so their immediate focus was on Saturday's trip to struggling Walsall.
If Charlton were to notch up their 7th league win in a row, they'd have to do it the hard way, falling behind when Matt Sadler's shot ricocheted to John Macken. A surprise lead for Dean Smith's strugglers, but Charlton's class showed as they wiped out the deficit. Hogan Ephraim had the home defence backpedalling and then spotted the perfectly timed run of Jan Kermorgant to have the sides on level terms at the interval. After the break, it was anyone's game, with Walsall closest to clinching maximum points. Claude Nakpa forced a good save from Ben Hamer as Darryl Russell was scurrying back to provide cover. His header off the line denied Sadler what might have been the winner. Instead, the unfortunate Walsall defender ended the day making his mark for the wrong reasons, arriving late on Scott Wagstaff to snuff out a Charlton break and collect a second booking. So Sadler first back to the dressing rooms with just a minute to play, but his foul had helped to secure an excellent point.
Testing trip for second place Sheffield Wednesday, up against an Oldham side improving all the time. After a goalless first half, a touch of magic from David Prutton had Wednesday's 4,000 followers raising the roof at Boundary Park. That put the Owls on track for a 3rd away win on the bounce, a run they last achieved 4 years ago. And 6 minutes from the end they sealed the win that cements their place in the top 2. Alex Cisak performed heroics in the Oldham goal before the referee gave a penalty for a foul on Sanchez Watt. Both managers admitted at being puzzled by the decision, but Ryan Lowe kept his cool to earn Wednesday their 5th straight win in all competitions. A result that sets them up nicely for next week's Yorkshire derby with Huddersfield.
He's given a penalty and we've tucked it away. It's happened against us in the past and I've not made a big fuss about it, and I won't make a big fuss about this because I've got to be perfectly honest, I've got all on to see that far.
Huddersfield boss Lee Clark described his side as being like caged animals this week after defeat at Charlton last time out ended their unbeaten league run. But from the start it was the Cherries who had more bite, and they took the lead after 19 minutes when Harry Arter latched onto Wes Thomas's cross. Clark admitted this was possibly the worst performance since he's been in charge, and the visitors could have been 2 up at the break. However, Ian Bennett denied Scott Malone. This the Terriers' first home defeat of 2011.
MK Dons cruised to success at Tranmere, with a performance manager Carl Robinson deemed near perfect. They never looked back after establishing a 19th minute lead, Jabo Ebere unchallenged as he nodded in Adam Smith's cross. Rovers boss Les Parry didn't quibble over Robinson's assessment, declaring the Dons the best side his team's faced this season. Sean Williams did well to keep his feet and make the points safe in the second half. That's 5 league wins on the spin for the men from Milton Keynes.
Ched Evans is in the form of his life. The striker on target for the 5th game running to keep Sheffield United firmly in the promotion picture. His opener against Rochdale taking his tally to 12 overall, an impressive return considering he missed the opening 9 games of the campaign. That meant Steve Ayres' team were a goal down just 6 minutes before the interval, and the Dale boss had even bigger concerns following Dean Holden's sickening collision with his own keeper David Lucas. Players from both sides helped get Lucas into the recovery position as the stretcher was called for. After a 10-minute stoppage, the stricken keeper was taken to hospital suffering from concussion, and that left Matty Edwards to take over in goal. And just before the hour, the Blades doubled their advantage. Lessenel Jean-Francois linking up with Stephen Quinn and then sending over the perfect cross for Richard Creswell. The Blades now on course for a 5th straight win in all competitions. And just 7 minutes later, Evans smashed in a fabulous 3rd to seal a comfortable win. Bad news for Rochdale, but better news for Lucas, who was at least given the all-clear to travel home with the team.
There haven't been many home comforts for Yeovil of late. They were without a win at Hewish Park in 6, and they could have been sentenced to another home defeat had Alan Judge's ferocious shot been a couple of inches lower. When the opening goal came, it came late, and it was the home side who got it. With just a couple of minutes remaining, 2 substitutes combined as Steve McLean teed up Andy Williams to head home from close range. The solitary goal means the Glovers win back-to-back league games for the first time this season.
For 80 minutes, Hartlepool's caretaker boss Mickey Barron had a relatively quiet day. The Griffin Park finale changed that, his team falling behind at Brentford after a neat flick, first-time shot and fumble from Scott Flinders, Niall McGinn's goal. The Bees' advantage was cancelled out almost immediately as the home side spurned their chance to whack the ball away. Sam Collins capitalised. The Hartlepool skipper's joy was also short-lived. A frantic 5-minute spell produced another dramatic twist. Tumani Diagoraga tumbling amid the panic at the back. Brentford's extravagant celebrations almost backfired as Gary Alexander's penalty was saved. But at the second attempt he clinched the win and a place in the top 6.
A dream start for a Scunthorpe side hoping to avoid a 4th successive league defeat. Andy Barcham picking his spot to perfection to establish a 3rd-minute lead against Carlisle. That goal was enough to send them to the break on top, but they had the woodwork to thank for keeping the visitors at bay. First, Lee Miller was denied by the post. And soon after, Peter Murphy had the chance to equalise, but was frustrated by the bar. Undeterred, Carlisle did get their reward just past the hour. James Berrett finding a hole in the Scunthorpe back line to level the scores. Afterwards, Iron boss Alan Nill admitted he'd have settled for a point at that stage. Instead, he was left to reflect on another defeat that pushes his side closer to trouble. Francois Zoko delivering the decisive blow in stoppage time. Only goal difference separates Carlisle from the top six.
Peter Ridsdale is back in football. His latest port of call is Preston North End, brought in to try and stop the club losing money. On the pitch, things haven't been going too swimmingly either, with 8 defeats in the last 10. However, Ridsdale nearly saw his new club take the lead against Stevenage, Neil Mellor's shot creeping just wide. Darius Charles came even closer for the visitors, but he was denied by a fine save from Thorsten Stockman. North End boss Phil Brown said his preparation had been undone by late injuries and illness sweeping through the camp. But even he must have been feeling sick when in injury time Ian Hume was denied by Chris Day before Mellor again failed to find the target. Borough are now unbeaten in 10 in all competitions.
On recent form, few saw this result coming. Colchester raced into the lead against a Bury side who'd just won 3 in a row. Carl Duguid claiming the first, which was put past his own keeper by Joe Scars. Only 3 minutes gone, and John Ward's men would be in total control by the break. The scorer more clear-cut as they doubled their advantage, Ian Henderson making good use of an inch-perfect cross. Colchester had just lost 3 games on the trot, but this result was beyond doubt once Duguid marked his first start since rejoining the U's in the summer by stroking home the third. When things do click for the Essex club, it can be spectacular. Lloyd James' terrific free kick meant that in 4 of their 6 wins this season, they've rattled in 4 goals. Bury's thoroughly disappointing day finished with just one moment to remember. A late consolation from Lanao John Lewis, taken neatly by the sub, but it didn't make the scoreline look much better.
Just the response Russell Slade was hoping for after watching Orient crash out of the cup against Gillingham a week ago. The breakthrough arrived in the second half when Troy Archibald Henville was penalised for handball. Kevin Lisby did the necessary to end the O's run of 3 games without a goal. Exeter simply had no answer, and 10 minutes later they were 2 down. This time Lisby pouncing on a defensive mistake to set up Jonathan Tahui. No complaints from Exeter boss Paul Tisdale, who admitted the home side were worthy winners, and with just 3 minutes left, Archibald Henville was in the thick of things again. This time the penalty much more clear-cut, allowing Lisby to notch his second. Orient's first league win since the end of October.
Both sides knew a defeat here could be a big blow in their battle against relegation, and it was rock-bottom Chesterfield who took just 4 minutes to take the lead against second-bottom Wycombe. Dean Morgan was on hand to convert a Craig Westcar cross. It's fair to say Wycombe's equaliser was down to persistence. Marcelo Trotter's header was cleared off the line. Dave Winfield hit the woodwork. Trotter tried again, before debutant Anthony McNamee showed them how it's done. Good things come to those who wait. But 10 minutes into the second half and Gary Waddock's side were behind once more. Morgan smashing home his second of the afternoon after latching on to a Tommy Lee goal kick. Wycombe have the worst home record in the division, so home supporters could have been forgiven for fearing the worst. But with just over 10 minutes to play, Trotter levelled things up with this finish past Lee. Waddock said afterwards the win was down to perseverance, and his point was made eloquently in the 94th minute. Top scorer Stuart Bevan was on hand to head home his 11th of the season and secure Wycombe's first win in 7. The defeat leaves the Spireites cut adrift at the bottom.
A huge win, that, for Wycombe, and Chesterfield's miserable run continues. We saw there also Bournemouth getting their revenge over Huddersfield after the playoff misery back in May, Steve. A couple of defeats now back-to-back for Huddersfield, but for Bournemouth, I mean, they've come across some money now, haven't they, with the new Russian owner, got Charlie Daniels in. Suddenly the feel around that club, it's changed a bit.
Yeah, I think they've put another bid in for somebody else. I think Matt Ritchie down at Swindon. So all of a sudden, as you say, the goalposts have very much moved in that respect. They've gone from probably the have-nots. There's 1 or 2 players, Mark Pugh included, who signed a new deal, probably would have had to go.
Sign a new contract.
Had to have gone under the previous regime to the, to people who are actually players who can come and buy other people's best players and not lose their own. So, yeah, as I say, they're exciting times down at Bournemouth.
Another team doing very, very well is MK Dons. 7 wins in a row now for them. This is a stat as well for you, Steve. 62 goals they've scored in all competitions. No one is yet in double figures.
I mean, it's a fantastic stat simply because what you are doing as players, you're not relying on one person. One person is not shouldering the burden of the responsibility of trying to win your games in football. There are plenty of people in your club who can win your games. There's one or two who also can come in and do a job. So no doubt they're looking strong. They've gone up to third, and this has been a fantastic year. And to be fair to him, ever since he's took over, he's done a really good job, hasn't he?
He certainly has. John Ward's come in for a bit of flack from some of the Colchester fans. He needed that win today. I mean, I know Carl Duguid's come back to the club. A couple of goals from him as well. Helped his cause.
Yeah, I mean, they're one of those clubs that, they've been in and around the middle of the table. They just need to find a way of putting a little bit of a run together, a little bit of a consistent run together to tack themselves onto that playoff position.
But he's certainly brought some stability to that.
Yeah, no, he has. He hasn't done a bad job by any stretch of imagination. But as I say, they just need that little run to get them in contact, and they just don't quite seem to find a way of doing that.
Yeah.
But who's, second half of the season, if they can carry on getting results like that, and that is achievable.
Sheffield Wednesday, 1 defeat in 13 now. They keep the pressure, more importantly, on the teams above them. 4,000 went to their game against Oldham. I know it's not exactly far, but it's the support that club carries as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that would have been only 4,000. I'm sure if they'd have been allowed, they'd have taken an awful lot more. We say it time and time. It's a huge, huge club. Fantastic support, really, really loyal support. And, the sort of club that you want to do well simply because those supporters are like they are. So, good luck to them. Into a promotion spot now, and, looking good.
Right, League Two now, into one of the division's surprise packages. Cheltenham Town, 8 wins in the last 9 league games, have propelled Mark Yates' side up into the 3rd place in the table, as fans now dare dream of an improbable return to League One. Clem's been to Warden Road to find out more.
It's a special season for Cheltenham Town, like Arsenal. They're celebrating 125 years since their formation, which is why they're wearing their original kit colour of ruby red. But the feel-good factor doesn't end there. After several seasons watching what even their own chairman described as pretty gruesome stuff, they know that a win over Southend today will take them to within a point of the leaders. Describe the atmosphere around the place at the moment.
Absolutely tremendous. Brilliant club, brilliant season, brilliant cup run. Well, it's buzzing, isn't it? Well run and enjoyable.
When Mark Yates took over just before Christmas 2009, Cheltenham was struggling financially, 22nd in League Two, and in real danger of slipping out of the Football League. It's a mark of their progress under him that 2 years later, he's just picked up November's Manager of the Month award. Well, we were here for your debut 2 years ago. What have you done to progress the job since then? A lot of hard work?
Yeah, a lot of hard work from everybody, from the chairman right the way through. I've got a good staff behind me, and it's taken a bit of time. There was a bit of a mess here when we came. There was a lot to clear up and sort out.
The manager brought in practically a brand new team in the summer, unearthing talent like defender Sido John Barty, signed from Bath City, and with a strong emphasis on young loanees like striker Jimmy Spencer from Huddersfield and defender Luke Garbett from Everton.
We've done quite well with all of them this year. We've gone for young players, hungry players with a future in the game, and touch wood, they've all worked.
18-year-old England under-21's goalkeeper Jack Butland is the one who's really caught the eye. This is his last game before he returns to his parent club Birmingham City. Premier League scouts have been flocking from far and wide to get a look at him.
I think it's been massive in terms of my development and coming here to a great bunch of players and great staff and fans.
Little bit of a tear in the eye about today, your last game.
My mates are winding me up about it, saying I'm going to cry at the end, but I don't think I will be. But no, it's been a great experience here. I've enjoyed every minute, and I'll be sad to go.
And as the weather turns distinctly nippy, how about this for a winter warmer? Cheltenham have just drawn Tottenham away in the 3rd round of the FA Cup, a welcome financial lifeline.
It's majorly significant. I mean, we should be generating a 6-figure sum from the gate receipts. Shame we're not on telly, but our away record is fab. We won 8 on the bounce, so we go to White Hart Lane with confidence, and who knows what can happen. It's 11 against 11.
Great game in prospect today. Great test for you against the leaders. I'm really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I am. Big, strong side. Paul's got them playing terrific football, attacking football. There'll be 30 crosses coming in our box today.
This may have appeared a stiff challenge for Cheltenham, but there was no stopping their charge. Russell Penn teeing up Jimmy Spencer for the 20th minute opener, which put Mark Yates' men on the way to yet another win. Penn's strong running was instrumental again as they increased the lead after the break. Luke Daniels parried his shot before Spencer's effort was blocked, but Southend was still in danger. Unable to clear their lines, they could only watch as Marlon Pack unleashed a brilliant effort with the outside of his boots. Waiting for the rebound, Penn, who finished the job he'd started. Unfortunate for Pack, who was soon going to be sick of the sight of that woodwork. Another ambitious shot clattered against the other post. The follow-up blasted wide. But it was to be third time lucky for the Cheltenham midfielder, who sealed that 5th successive victory 10 minutes from the end. Far more straightforward that time, Southend well beaten.
League Two, sit up and take notice.
Yeah, pleasing performance, great result. Could have had more, thoroughly deserved. That's the run of form we're on at the moment, and we've just got to keep it going.
I mean, you've gone up from this division as a player with this club. Can you spot some of the hallmarks of that Steve Cottrell team?
We were better than this team's better than that one. I know that. We give ourselves a chance of achieving something. We know we talked about it pre-season, and sometimes it can be hot air. But this group of players, there's something special, and that's a great result today.
If you're not to return to this club, have these boys got enough to finish the job off and get promoted?
Definitely, yeah. Just so much strength throughout the team. You know, just the effort they have, the mentality is amazing, and together that they've got, you know, technical ability as well. So I see them going all the way and flying. Excellent.
Yeah, Jack Butland has been instrumental for Cheltenham Town this season, and he's going to be sorely missed. 3-0 win over the leader Southend. Steve, that is a huge statement, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, when you get in these situations, it's always interesting to see the manager, his reaction after the game, what he's got to say. And it was difficult to not read into that. You know, he's very, very confident, and rightly so after a result like that. And I think that would probably just reinforce the notion of what he already knows, that they've got more than enough now to have a really, really good season.
Well, as for the rest of League Two, the team level on points at the top with Southend at the start of the day was Crawley Town. They're at home to 5th place Burton on Saturday.
Crawley are top of the pile once again after a stylish win over their promotion rivals. Claude Davis doesn't get many, but a peach of a strike midway through the first half put the Sussex club on course for maximum points. Burton, without top scorer Billy Key, were chasing a 4th successive victory, but hopes of a turnaround disappeared just before the hour. Matt Tubbs crossed for Tyrone Barnett, and the unfortunate Aaron Webster put past his own keeper for the 2nd match in a row. That sealed it for the home side, but there was still time for Tubbs to add a 3rd 7 minutes from the end. After his hat-trick in the Cup last week, he was clearly hungry for more. His 14th of the campaign, one to savour, as Crawley soared to the summit.
Graham Turner's Shrewsbury were within touching distance of the automatic promotion places, but despite 4 clean sheets in 5 matches, it was questionable defending that allowed Luke Guttridge to score the game's only goal with 23 minutes to play, a goal that ends the Shots' run of 3 straight defeats.
When Swindon's Paul Caddis picked up the ball in his own half, Bristol Rovers obviously thought there wasn't much danger. Big mistake. Caddis just kept on running. His goal had Paolo Di Canio's team on course to stretch their unbeaten league sequence to 9 matches. But Swindon were denied victory with just 2 minutes to spare, a rare lapse from that normally mean defence, allowing Danny Woodards to rescue Rovers.
This game got the go-ahead thanks to an army of volunteers who helped clear snow from the pitch. They're probably wishing they hadn't bothered. It was far from a classic, although Gillingham had the better of the chances. Jose Vega needed to be sharp to keep out Curtis Weston. This point stretches the Gills' unbeaten run to 7 matches in League and Cup, whilst Macclesfield are now without a win in 5. But thanks to Vega, they at least take a point. A terrific double stop denied both Danny Jackman and Weston as it finished all square.
Not much separated these 2 playoff hopefuls at the start of the day, with Morecambe just a point ahead of the visitors. Lewis Alessandra came close to opening the scoring for Jim Bentley's men in the first half, only to be denied by Ryan Clark. In the second period, it was the turn of the home keeper to prevent the deadlock being broken. The corner wasn't successfully cleared, allowing Damien Batt the chance to let fly, but he could find no way past Barry Roach. Two evenly matched sides share the points then. This, the Shrimps' first goalless draw in 53 league games.
Torquay manager Martin Ling's not looking forward to the transfer window, knowing midfielder Eunan O'Kane's a hot property. The young midfielder a whisker away from giving his team the lead against Barnet on Friday night in another eye-catching display. The Bees, who've hit some promising form themselves recently, went just as close at the other end, the woodwork keeping out Mark Marshall before Torquay eventually tied it up. The Devon club was chasing its fourth successive home victory, but for Dean Brill's block, O'Kane would have had them on the right track after the break. Instead, they were forced to wait until the 4th minute of stoppage time, when the match was decided by a special strike from Kevin Nicholson. Too late for Barnet to fight back. Torquay right up with the playoff pack and building momentum.
For Rotherham, this was one that almost got away. A rare goal from defender Johnny Mullins gave them an early lead against a Hereford side looking to end a 3-match losing streak. The Millers were chasing back-to-back away wins for the first time since August, and just 10 minutes after breaking the deadlock they doubled their advantage. As the home side struggled to clear their lines, Alex Ravel set his sights. A wicked bounce got the better of Adam Bartlett, leaving the strugglers facing yet another defeat. But if they thought the game was sewn up, they were hugely mistaken. Johan Arkan took matters into his own hands to put the home side back into contention. The Frenchman is tipped to follow in the footsteps of Matthew Moncey. A fabulous finish gave them fresh hope as they headed towards the break. In fact, things got even better for them just 8 minutes later. Bartlett's long kick caused chaos in the Millers' back line, and Delroy Facey needed all of his power and strength to punish his former employers. Despite the setback, Andy Scott's men conjured up a winner just past the hour. Mullins, the unlikely hero, with his second of the game. A win that lifts his team to within 2 points of a playoff place.
There hasn't been much festive cheer on show in East London lately, with the Daggers on a club record run of 8 consecutive defeats. But things looked up when Brian Woodall scored his first goal for the club after 23 minutes. Mickey Adams' side themselves were without a win since October, but hit back immediately. Stevenage loanee Jennison Myrie Williams scored what was Vale's first goal in more than 500 minutes of league football. No wonder they were keen to celebrate. Myrie Williams arrived on loan from Borough on the same day as Guy Maggio, and in the second half it was the turn of Maggio to net his first for the club. Robert Taylor's surging run went unchecked, and his cross found the Cameroonian, who in turn found the net. The defeat means the Daggers' miserable run continues as they slip to the bottom of the table.
8 league games without a win now for Wimbledon, whose inability to protect the near post cost them dear against Accrington Stanley. Brian Hughes' cross got a faint touch from Padraig Ammon to push the home side back onto the slippery slope. Terry Brown's team were unable to recover from that 3rd-minute setback, undone again in very similar fashion midway through the first half. Craig Lindfield with the decisive touch this time, ensuring Accrington's first away win of the campaign was in the bag.
A new beginning for Northampton as Adi Boothroyd took charge for the first time. It's hoped he can revive the fortunes of a team desperately short of confidence. Adebayo Akinfenwa's header after 16 minutes against Crewe gave the new boss just the start he was looking for. Having lost 7 of their previous 8 games, perhaps this would prove to be a step in the right direction. But jump forward to the 61st minute and the same old problems resurfaced. Poor defending allowed AJ Leach-Smith to set up Byron Moore for the equaliser. Crewe were now on the verge of claiming their first away draw this year, although Kelvin Langmead almost gave his new boss a winning start, but the crossbar ensured the scores would finish level. And Langmead's frustration wouldn't end there. Right at the death he was dismissed for a second yellow card, but given their recent run, a draw seems to be a good starting point for the new man in charge, He can see plenty of reasons to be optimistic.
There's lots of pluses there today for me. I'm really pleased. Disappointed not to win, particularly after going 1-0 up. But you know, like I said to you, it was important that we sort of steadied the ship a little bit. And the work rate so far has been excellent. It needs to go up a level, and it will, because I've got some good lads.
This was a match between two sides both struggling for form, but it was the rock-bottom visitors who took the lead with half an hour to play. Simon Walton's shot was turned in on the line by Blackpool loanee Craig Sutherland. Sutherland's first for the club looked as if it would be enough to give Carl Fletcher's men consecutive wins for the first time this season. However, James Hansen equalised with just 4 minutes to play. But that wasn't to be the end of the drama. As the Bantams pushed for a late winner, Onismore Basira fouled Carl Reid and received a second yellow card. In the end, Argyle held on for a draw, a point that still leaves both sides mired in relegation trouble.
Yeah, painful end to that game for Plymouth, but they're off the bottom at least.
Yes, one thing, got to stay up after the last couple of years that they've had, obviously, in relegation last year. It's important that they do that. It's a big club. It can be a very progressive club at that level. But yeah, first thing they've got to do is make sure they retain their status in this division.
Crawley extend their unbeaten run. They're unbeaten in 14 now in all competitions. I know Steve Evans wants to end 2011 as the best team in Britain according to win percentage. 69%. That's an incredible record this year.
It's a fantastic record, isn't it? I mean, obviously,
6 defeats in 55 games.
Yeah. I mean, you know, not everyone's cup of tea, but I'll tell you what, he's done a brilliant job. There's no doubt about that. He's brought some really good players. Everybody, there's a little bit of jealousy surrounding them, but you know, all you can do is the best with what you've got available, and you can certainly level that at him. It's been a magnificent year for everyone involved at Crawley.
A fourth game for Northampton, a fourth different man in charge, but this time now it's obviously a permanent appointment. Aidy Boothroyd's now there at Sixfields. It's not a win on Saturday that maybe he wanted, but it's not the defeat, so it stops the rot at the very least.
Well, it's a start.
Yeah.
It's something to build from. Let's put it that way. I mean, anything's better than what they've been through over the last month or so. So yeah, I mean that there's another one where they've just got to stop, get a foundation, put something in place this year, and hopefully take that on next year.
Landmark result for Accrington Stanley on Saturday, a bit like Portsmouth, who we mentioned earlier. Without an away win since February for Aki Stanley, but they got it, and obviously inflict further misery on AFC Wimbledon.
Yeah, well, they're on a bit of a poor run, aren't they, Wimbledon, after starting so well, and I think they were top 3 at one stage not so long ago, if I remember right, and all of a sudden it's wheels have come off slightly, but Accrington Stanley done a fantastic job there, John Coleman, as you say. I mean, you can't speak too highly of him, you know, with as I say, the size of the club and the finances. So yeah, I mean, you can't take anything away from them. They've done a great job, and they're going great guns as well.
Right, well, let's take a look at the day's big winners and losers then, as far as the tables are concerned. In N-Power League 2, Crawley are back to the top after they beat Burton, and Southend lost to Cheltenham. In fact, Crawley and Cheltenham were the only teams in the top 8 to win. Plymouth are off the bottom, as we said, and join Dagenham on 13 points. The Pilgrims are ahead of the Daggers, having scored more goals than John Still's men, who've now lost 9 league games in a row. None of the bottom 9 sides won at the weekend. In League 1, Charlton's lead at the top was cut to 5 points as they were held at Walsall, and Sheffield Wednesday won at Oldham. MK Dons' 5th consecutive league win moves them above Huddersfield, who've now lost back-to-back games, of course. Wycombe's late winner against Chesterfield sees them move 3 points clear of the Spyrites. Yeovil also secured a late win, which sees them move out of the bottom 4. As for the N-Power Championship, well, Southampton's draw against Blackpool sees them drop points at home for the first time this season. West Ham, however, failed to capitalise for a second week in a row with another defeat. Middlesbrough and Hull were the only teams in the top 9 to win on Saturday. Well, the bottom 3 sides all lost again, but it's been a good Saturday, of course, for Ipswich. They move above Bristol City after that amazing second-half comeback against Keith Hill's Barnsley. Now, before we go, the usual reminder, if you missed any of tonight's goals, we're on the red button and on Freeview until midday on Sunday. Otherwise, it's on the iPlayer all week. Before or after extended match highlights, well, they'll be on the BBC Sport website. On Sunday evening, there's the best of the day's Premier League action on Match of the Day 2. Join Colin at 10:30, and that's on BBC One this time. And it'll include, of course, Martin O'Neill's first match in charge of Sunderland when they take on Blackburn. As for us, we'll be back next Saturday, and we're on air at 11:40 as usual, right after Match of the Day. OK, Steve, thanks for your company as always. Well, it's been a cracking day in the Football League. Hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you next week. Good night.